What's going on, YouTube? Hello, hi, it's me, Saint Riot, and you're YouTube, and we're doing a little check-in on some of my older builds I haven't used in a while. I've been going through and getting them a little more organized and uniform, moving flasks around, double-checking stats, making sure I've got all the talismans I need, and basically just seeing if there's other things I can do or add to the builds. Well, this is the Beast Paladin, and we've added the Crucible Knight Spear, Silurius's Tree. This build uses all of the Beast incantations from Garronk, as well as Crucible Knight incantations, and I thought, well, a spear would be nice on this build, and so I went with the Crucible Knight's Spear. And it works great. Fits the build perfectly. And does a lot of damage, which is also nice. I've also added the Crucible Knight Greatsword. Ordovis' Greatsword. And I have switched to using Radagon's Soreseal on this build, which I was really curious about. I typically would not put a Soreseal on a build at this level. It's a little high level for a Soreseal. I think it's 76. All the stats and everything will be at the end of the video. Yeah, a little too high level for a Soreseal, but I thought, well, let's try it anyway, just to see. Because the Miquellan Knight Sword that we're using, it says that it's, a strength, dex, faith, it scales D and everything. But that faith scaling is basically a lie. This thing is mostly just a quality weapon. The faith will increase the Ash of War damage, and it will increase the buff on the Ash of War. But other than that, you're not getting much out of the faith here. And since we're using the beast incantations mainly, that means we have we're using the Clawmark seal. Couldn't remember the name, sorry. We're using the Clawmark seal. And since we're using the Clawmark seal, that scales with strength. So we've leaned more strength than dex on this particular build. And that helps our incantations, it helps our weapon damage, etc. The Radagon's seal giving us extra HP, endurance, extra dex is extra damage for all of our weapons. So it wasn't a bad, it was an interesting thing to test, and surprisingly, it's not too bad. So this is, around level 80, basically, using the Soreseal, and I had another build that I thought, okay, well, if it worked at 80 for this build, maybe it'll work at 80 for the other build. And the other build wears lighter armor. Much lighter, and provides much less defense, and it is noticeable. So on this build, the Soreseal, not really that big of a deal, the extra damage. Like you'll feel it, it's real, but not necessarily a deal breaker. On the other build, it absolutely it is absolutely noticeable how much extra damage I'm taking using the Soreseal around level 70, 80. But, for this build I decided to keep it on. Actually, I kept it on for both builds. Because I'm dumb, I guess. But, this build, it's fun going back and playing this build. All of these builds, really. I forget how much fun they were, I always sort of default back to, my strength builds or my intelligence build, maybe my pyromancer build. I always sort of default back to those. So going back and trying out all these other builds has been a lot of fun, and they're a good time. I am always pleasantly surprised. Oh right, I forgot this spell does this thing. It's actually pretty cool. For example, aspects of the Crucible tail. Going around the wall there and knocking that dude off the ledge. stuff like that. Every one of these builds has something, you know, that that surprises me. And I mean, of course, it shouldn't be a surprise. I made these builds. Of course, I made them with stuff I thought was cool. But yeah, it's been a while since I've played with any of them, so you know, they always sort of take me by surprise. But yeah, this thing has been great. And I love the Miquellan Night Sword art too. That was one of the big things I had to put on the build, was the Miquellan Night Sword heavy attack. That was, as soon as I saw it, I was like, man, that attack is awesome. I have to make a build around that. And it's a holy sword, so I thought, okay, Paladin. We'll do like a Paladin type. And then I thought, okay, what else have I wanted to mess around with? And the thing I wanted to mess around with was the beast incantations. And so, yeah, Beast Paladin was born. This invasion is a long one. I think the rest of the video that you're watching, if I'm remembering right, is this invasion. Everything was like they had been through this level, and they had killed everything as they made their way through. And every attempt at going somewhere everywhere I go is a place that they had already been. So everything was dead. I'm thinking like, okay, well maybe the Omen Killer is down there. No, the Omen Killer is already dead. So I'll go into the sewers, and maybe I can get out of the sewers through the ladder while they're fighting the Albinorics and the rats and the hands. Nope, all dead. Maybe the gargoyle will let me get up on the ladder. Nope, already dead. Trying to find a way out of one of these, you know, situations. This is why it's important to like know the level when you invade, so that you have some idea of like, all right, they can't have possibly have gone every, you know, okay, finally, here's a knight. This dude will help us out. And all we need is just like, you know, just a moment to reset and regroup, right? So we'll let them fight the knight, and then I'll take this elevator to the left here, and I want them to see me take the elevator, so I'll kind of hang around a little bit near the windows and stuff, so they know where I'm at. And if that still doesn't work, maybe we'll get their attention with the jar cannon. I had a really smart idea here. I was hoping I could get them to come up the elevator, and I could try and land Ordovis's Greatsword, the Vortex, as they come up the elevator. I've never used this weapon before, so I'm not sure exactly what I can do to buff this. I'm guessing Godfrey's Icon would buff it, maybe? Or maybe, you know, I don't know. Soreseal for sure, obviously would, but I don't know if Godfrey's Icon would. It does seem like it's charged up. I need to read the item description. Most of the spells' item descriptions tell you whether the spell can be charged, cast repeatedly, cast while moving, etc. The item descriptions of the spells will tell you that. The Ashes of War probably do as well. I just need to do a better job of reading them and paying attention. But, I mean, it worked. It did knock them all down, which made that a pretty safe move. And then, of course, as we come into the Hell Room, they haven't killed these enemies. And this is a great room. If you're an invader, this room rules. It is, I think, you know, out of 1,000 invasions that you bring into this room, maybe one group will survive this room. Like, it's brutal. It is a brutal room. Between the perfumers buffing the invader and the pages, it's just I mean, it's just insane damage all the time. And it's hard to get rid of any of the enemies here. It's hard to swing on them, you know, twice or 3 times. Because you are constantly being attacked. But your first swing constantly does nothing because everybody is buffed and doesn't take any damage on that first attack. So yeah, just a absolutely brutal little room in the capital. But man, what a way to, like, you know, you invade somebody and every part of the level is dead except for that one room. That is a beautiful way to turn things around. And then we get a second invader who is hilariously running that Elon Musk build, the fat rolling wizard, you know. This person obviously probably doing Vare's quest or something, because they have no idea. They do understand that, you know, who their enemy is, so they at least know that, I guess. But they're like a fat rolling wizard who casts Rock Sling in PvP. And as someone who does weird stuff in PvP, I'm not trying to knock Rock Sling. I could probably see myself making a build that uses Rock Sling. But in this kind of situation where there's 2 invaders and I have just had like the fight of my life, you know, trying to drag these people through a dead level, and then I finally managed to like turn the tides a little bit, this is not the second invader you want to see show up. But you know, look at them, they're not hitting me much. You know, so like I can't be too mad at them. They've run out of quick step juice there. And this person, yeah, like, I don't know why they're after me, but whatever, they're after me. It doesn't matter. Job's done. Job's finished. Anyway. Love this build. It's great. Miquellan Night Sword, Beast Incantations, Crucible Incantations, Crucible Spear, Crucible Greatsword. Really fun build. Here's all the stats and everything. Keep in mind we are wearing Radagon Soreseal, so that's 5 extra levels in Vigor, Endurance, Strength, and Dex. Our weapons are +6, +15, +6 Somber, +15 normal. Talismans and everything we use. Anyway, that's it. That's the video. I will see you guys next time for another build. Which one will it be? Who knows? But I'll see you then. Later, y'all.